video. So today is a little bit different. I've not been out fishing for a couple of months actually. Can't quite remember the last time I went, but I've got a couple of weeks off work. I did have a planned trip to the Royalty, and I did have a planned trip to the Thames holiday trips, but unfortunately hospital appointments have got in the way, so I have to do day sessions now in between hospital appointments. So today I'm fishing up somewhere quite special to me actually. It's one of my local docks, my London docks. Now I'm here for a predator session. I'm not here for any one particular session, one particular species. What's really good about this particular dock is there's loads of different predators in here. Not just perch, pike and zander, but also bass, eels, catfish, you name it. There's anything can really pick up my bait today. Now today I'm going to be live baiting, something a little bit, you know, controversial, but I think if you do it responsibly, which I'll talk about later, and I'll go into more depth with rigs and tackle and that later on, is something that can really sort of single out the bigger predators sometimes, especially perch. Most people like to use worms and prawns and stuff like that, but on these London docks, really a live bait scores really highly. Anyway, let's give you a little bit of a history. I've not been here for maybe a year. I did make a video last year that I actually pulled from the channel, which was me catching on worms, just catching flatfish and bream and small perch, and I think I had a couple of silverfish as well, some ruds and some roach, but it didn't really make for a good video, so I actually pulled that from the channel. But what I'm really looking forward to today is the possibility. I've not done any live baiting up here for over 15 years. This place used to be teeming with big perch. Unfortunately the perch are not there in great numbers anymore, and especially not in great sizes as far as we're aware, but until you try it you're never going to know. But the pike and the zander, especially the zander, since I stopped fishing it 15 years ago, and I've only just recently started fishing it again a couple of times a season, the zander are starting to show. And I think I was one of the first people to catch a zander and a pike from the dock and actually document it. And this was going back, like I say, 15, 20 years ago. So I'll insert these two pictures that I had back then, that people had seen when I actually, because I used to work around the corner in a tackle shop, and I pinned them on the wall, so I'll show you them now. And as you can see, they're only small. I think the pike was something like 10, 11 pounds, and the zander was about 3 pounds. Both caught on a 6-foot light lure jigging rod, which had 4-pound line on it, because again I was only fishing for perch. I was unaware that there were pike and zander in this water. Now I heard there were pike in the water, but they never ever got caught, and now they're starting to show up to 20 pounds, and I've actually seen them with my own eyes last year when I come over to do a bit of lure fishing. So I'm absolutely cannot wait to get live baits into the water. This day is perfect. It's overcast with a little tiny bit of sunshine coming through the clouds. Possibly might rain a little bit, I doubt it, but it could do. Like I say, it's a little bit overcast, it's muggy, not muggy to the point of feeling sticky, but it's muggy enough that it's warm enough to try and catch live bait. Now, trying to catch live bait from this dock is very, very difficult. I don't know how long it's going to take me and Jack to catch live bait, but I actually got a live bait well with me today, so that's what I'm going to keep the baits in, especially towards the evening when you want to have both rods really at prime time for catching some predators. I don't want to be messing around trying to catch live baits, but I'll go through rigs, tackle, bait. You'll see that all through the session hopefully, but fingers crossed, more than anything we at least get a fish each piece today, me and Jack. Don't know if I mentioned I am fishing with Jack today. He's in the adjoining dock, which we're going to go and meet him in a moment. So let's get the gear together, head round now and see if we can catch some predators. Right folks, so we're actually in our swim. Jack's about 10-15 metres from me. He's actually caught his first bait and he's putting it on his bait rod. So we'll have a little look about how he's doing things later on, because he does do things slightly different from me, and he's an awesome perch angler, so we'll have a little look, see how he's fishing later. But in the meantime, before I start, I thought it'd be probably best time to show you the tackle I'm going to be using today. I've got a 9-foot rod. It's a Shimano Yeti Zander Pleasure. Casts up to 30 grams, so it's absolutely perfect for travelling, fishing for predators, small jacks, zander and perch, you know. Absolutely lovely. I love the 9-foot as well. I wasn't all for short rods, but now certainly am, and I brought it into my predator fishing. I'm very glad that I did. I've coupled that with a bait runner. That's a 2,500 size. Absolutely fantastic. Always use bait runners for my bait fishing now, for predator fishing. It's so versatile. You know, if you turn your head and you hear zzz, you know you got, it's like a secondary precaution. We are fishing with floats today, so we will be keeping our eyes peeled. I've coupled that with 6-pound Guru line. That's the Pulse. Very, very impressed with it I've been so far with all my fishing for tench and intrusion and, you know, and perch. I'm really, really pleased with it. I'm using, we'll start from the hook end. I'm using actually a drop shot hook. I like using drop shot hooks on my bait fishing at the moment for live baits. I've done okay with them. I'm not done brilliant. I've done okay using them for prawns as well and worms, so I'm sticking with that at the moment. But I also like using wide gate hook from Super Specialist Drenham. So I've got a 9-inch trace, which is fluorocarbon. It's about £6, breaking strain, again Drenham. I'm not sponsored by any of these, I'm just telling you what I like to use. Now, I am fishing for all manner of predators, as I touched upon earlier on. There's everything in here. Primarily zander and perch is what we're fishing for. So if I feel we're going to get pike trouble, which we shouldn't, because there are pike in here, but they're far and few between, then I will convert to a 15-pound wire trace, very light, or I can put a Kevlar wire trace on. I can knock one up because I've got all my tackle with me. I'm fishing paternoster on this particular rod. As you can see there, it's trapped between 2 bait stops, and there's a little swivel bead in the middle, so it can swivel and rotate on itself. I've got that set at about 1 foot at the moment, so just off bottom. And like I say, I've trapped it between 2 Guru float stops. There's a 1-ounce lead on there. Doesn't really matter what brand it is, but that's a Guru one. And it's straight through to a bobber. Now, I'm not using my own creation today. I haven't had time to actually knock any particular floats up for this style of fishing. This one's a 10-gram bobber. It's a Drenham bobber. I've used these for years for perch. Me and Jack use the 5 and 7 grams, and they're absolutely perfect. But because today I'm fishing for all manner of predators, and maybe possibly slightly an average normal live bait, 4 inches maybe, I'm using a 10-grammer, and I've got that set at the moment at 13 foot. So that's my paternoster rig. So we'll just pop that down one side. The second float rod, which is exactly the same rod, and reel and line and everything, but I'm only fishing today for bait to start with. So this is a, let me show you the float. Again, it's a Drenham float. It's one of these Drenham bobbers, very similar to ones that I make, but obviously it's plastic moulded. I've used these again for years. One of the very first floats I actually started using when I started perch fishing. This is only really, if I wanted to transfer and use just maggots only, or if I wanted to fish with worms, this is ideal. You could use a small live bait on it, but I'm going to transfer straight back over to a free roving setup. Again, I'll show you that later on. It's very, very similar to how I fish for pike. If any of you guys watch my pike videos, go back and look on the catalogue of how I've set up my pike rods. Really very, very similar. So I will fish a free roving live bait a little bit later on, as well as the paternoster. But at the moment, it's all about trying to catch bait, because Jack is now in the water with a bait fishing. So let's get on with it and see if we can nail our first fish. Jack just over there. He's got live bait out at the moment, little silverfish. I'm not sure if he's had a tap down. He's just having a little chat at the moment. I think he had a little tap down, but I've had 2. I'm just fishing just out there where the coots are. It's not that far away. I've just had 2 pull downs. Not too sure if it was a fish or not. Could have been actual the small fish I've got on now. Mine's about 4 inches, whereas Jack's using probably one of about 2 inches. Now, again, like I reiterated, I'm trying to catch myself a nice live bait, sorry, a nice perch or zander. So that's why I'm using a slightly bigger bait. But again, because I can convert the rod over, the bait rod over later on, I might be able to get myself a nice perch, boy, maybe dropping down to lighter line and using smaller hooks and smaller live bait. But at the moment, no fish to report. It's been about half an hour, but it shouldn't be too long before we get a pull down. Again, this one's on the paternoster. Got the rod just propped up there. I've got a tight line, so if I've got my head turned the other way, all I'll hear is it's looking really good for a bite, so fingers crossed. So, little update guys, nothing, absolutely not a bean. But what's happened is we started about 1 o'clock. We've had a couple of little pull downs, but nothing really. Live baits, catching live baits has actually been very, very easy. We're just stocking up now in the live bait well, getting a couple of little baits together, and we're actually going to have a bit of a move behind us. Jack, as you can see, he's just got himself another little one.
Little chub.
Chublet, there we go.
Little chub.
Loads of these about at the moment. So we're just going to put that in the live bait well. Okay. Live bait well is just down on the floor here. The air pump on and some maggots catching live bait. So yeah, apologies for the quality of the video today. I'm actually filming on my phone. Not actually filming with any cameras or anything. But I've got 2 rods out now. So Jack's can continue to try and catch a live baits, put into the container for the move. I'm probably going to give it another half an hour or so, and then we're going to move around. But I've actually got both rods out now. So I'm fishing one with paternoster, like I showed you earlier, and then one on a free rover. And the free rover, it's actually a lot smaller fish than the one I'm using on the paternoster, and same float, but I just had it pulled under. So, you know, I wouldn't say that was the fish, possibly, but we'll see, we'll see. But we're going to give it another half an hour here, move, try around the corner in the next swim, next area of the dock, and if we don't get anything there, we could possibly move back here. But I still feel our best time. I know it's very overcast and it's nice at the moment. Me and Jack still think the best time is really when it's come towards evening. So all we can do is keep the baits out, keep fishing. We're here till around 8 o'clock, half 7, 8 o'clock when it starts to get dark. Maybe half an hour into dark, we'll see. See if we can see our floats first of all. And then hopefully we'll get a couple of fish. So we'll come back next time I've got one in my hands, or Jack's got one in his hands, or another little update. Jack's just caught one on a live bait. I'm only joking. There we go, little tiny bullhead. Crazy. Trying to catch live bait, and that's like the smallest fish I've ever seen from this stretch.
Aaron's got a maggot in his mouth.
Single maggot. Size 16. Oh my god. He's too small for even live bait, really. You've got to laugh. So yeah, just going to do a little move in a moment. Just giving the benefit of doubt for my little live bait for the moment. Oh, it's really frustrating, really frustrating. Because it feels perfect for a bite. But Jack said he was lure fishing in that swim behind us. So another 15 minutes and we're going to move. Right folks, so had my first one of the session. It's taken a long time and a move before we had one. Jack's had a couple of bobs himself and I've just bagged one. What would you give me for that, Jack?
3/4.
3/4 of a pound. So it's not huge, but give a really nice fight nose and the rods. I wish I'd have caught the actual strap for you. As you can see there, it's a beautiful little perch, and I'm well pleased and well made up. So anything over a pound today I would have been pleased, but actually a sub pound, you can't knock it. And it's really, really good just to get some bends in the rod, especially over this particular venue. So I'm absolutely over the moon. Like I say, it's no monster, but it's good fun, especially on light rods and live baiting, which is my favourite method. So I will talk to you a little bit about live baiting in a moment, and I'll show you that second rig that I talked about earlier that I actually caught it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it back now because it's been out long enough. Fantastic.
Right before. I don't understand the
Smelt smells. Right, it'll be the first time I ever catch on a live smelt. Yeah, it's the first one I've grabbed.
Ain't as lively as a jump, but fish is a fish.
Yeah.
You've been catching smelt around there as well?
Yeah. Bass, smelt, roach, jump.
Show you a live bait setup basically, and just talk to you a little bit about live baiting. I am going to be a bit on my hobby horse, but don't take it too seriously or too personally, but it's just my views. Now, this is a 7 litre. You can buy these in different sizes. I think they come in 12 and 17 litre. You tend to buy them from European places, places like Decathlon. If you look online, even if you go on eBay, you can buy these kind of live bait containers. But you can use a normal bucket. There's nothing stopping you from making holes in the top of a normal bucket. This actually comes with a lid as well. It's a green lid that goes over the top, but obviously because I've got live baits in the moment, I don't want them to, how can I put it? I don't want to suffocate them. But I can put the lid sort of half on just to keep it dark, and that's probably what I will do. Now, let me show you the container first of all. Container probably cost me around £12, not too much at all. It's actually quite a cheap container. At the moment I've got live baits in there, as you can see, little silverfish. And what's good about this particular container, other than a bucket, if you've got a cold day, rather than sort of stress the fish chasing them down, you can actually lift the bucket, which makes it easier to access the live baits. Absolutely fantastic. I've got an air pump in there at the moment. A lot of people use them without air pumps, but I do suggest and I do recommend getting yourself a battery powered air pump. They're fairly cheap. You can pick them up for £5 on eBay. This particular model, see if I can pull it off. This is a Rapala one. Cost me 15 quid. Now, yes, it is just an air pump, but I want to get a good quality one that's going to last. And I've had these, the cheaper versions. They do last for a couple of years. I mean, Jack's had one for 15 years, I believe, quite a long time. But this one is brand new, first time I've used it, and it's pumping the air in now. You can turn it on and off every 15 minutes, but I bought plenty of batteries and I just wanted to keep the thing plenty of aerated. I'm going to come on to the bit about keeping the fish. Now, don't take more fish than you need, really. It's not really fair on them. Like I say, once we don't catch with these will go back into the water. And because it's a nice warm day, I'm not too worried about changing the water, because it's really good practice to actually change the water in the container just to keep it fresh. But because it's not an overly hot day and it's not overly cold, because obviously when it's warm the oxygen in the water is not there. Although I've got an air pump in there, you really want to be changing the water because of ammonia build up. But at the moment it's all sweet, it's all cool, and I've not really changed the water and it's not too cloudy inside. Now we've got another hour and a half, 2 hours fishing. If we don't catch, like I say, these will go back. Always catch a live bait from the venue you catch them from. It's just not worth passing over fish diseases and stuff like that. I know there are plenty of people that do it out there for pike fishing. All I'm using is a single hook. I don't really like using trebles. I'm using a single hook. Obviously I would be if I'm perch and zander fishing. And I will show you that rig in a little while that I caught the last fish on. Well, I actually caught a second one just after it. It was probably about 4 or 5 ounces, not very big at all. Didn't bother get it on film. So yeah, that's the live baits, and I will show you the rig in a little while. Thank you. Right folks, as I said earlier on, I've had 2 fish now. One of about 4 or 5 ounce and the other one just under a pound. I've actually focused on the floats I've got in front of me. As you can see, there's one just there and then one on the far side against the boat. Perfect places to have a perch float around this area. Jack was just fishing to the left of to the right of me, but he's just moved over to the left and he's had a take as well, so it's all starting to heat up. So we decided that I'm going to do another session down here sometime this week. It just makes complete sense. I've had 2 fish and it's starting to come alive now, so it'd be really nice for Jack to bag one. He's not doing too dissimilar for me. He's using a live bait slider float setup, just as you see what I was using for my pike fishing. But like I say, I will show you at some point. It's not dissimilar from what I use in my pike fishing. But it's exciting. It's awesome to do this type of fishing. We've got one more bait in the tub, and one of us, or myself, I'll probably go round because I've had 2 fish. Is run around the corner and trying to catch a few more baits. But I think we're going to sell it out. Just use the rest of the baits first before we get some more. Not really the way we should be doing it, but we want to catch a fish, and it's more about catching a fish before trying to catch loads of bait and missing the opportune time, because this is prime time at the moment. So fingers crossed. Probably got an hour and a half left maximum. Fishing into just around darkness, and hopefully we can bag another couple of perch. Sweet. Well, Jack's had a perch, trying to catch a live bait. There we go.
Well, it's about 3 times the size of that.
I know, the way that went, and that was only a float rod. You want
That's what it is.
bring it up? Let's have a look at it. Yeah, trying to catch live bait, and Jack's hooked this nice little perch. I wouldn't say it's massive.
2 maggots.
So it's a little bit too big for what we want for live bait, unless he was a pike angler, of course. But again, even that's too big. Sweet, look at that.
Well, I ain't
Perfect.
blanked. There you go.
There you go, Jack. Yeah, at least you ain't blacked, mate. Sweet. Well, let's see if we can catch ourselves some small silvers. Still got about an hour, maybe hour and a half left. We've got one in the live bait well. We're still trying to catch a few more. I've got 2 rods out. Jack's got 1. Absolutely beautiful evening. Doing a time lapse. Hopefully it will come out. As you can see, it's beautiful. So I'm doing a time lapse at the moment, and yeah, just sitting back, waiting for the live baits to go. It's quite funny, but Jack trying to catch. It's always sod's law. It's happened to me. Trying to catch live baits, and we were joking about it earlier. We ended up getting a nice sized perch.
Why take 2 maggots when there's nice live baits?
Because perch not playing ball today, mate. They've been really finicky biters. The ones that have bit, and I have actually hooked, have been well hooked actually. So we'll see, but it's still nice to see Jack at least have a perch. But to get one on the live bait's primarily what we really want. That's what we're down here for. But there's so much movement. I don't doubt that we'll catch another 1 or 2 before we leave, although it is a little quiet at the moment. But yes, I shall be down here at some point during the week or next week. More than likely this week, because the fishing's been pretty good. I've really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's been perfect. I've not had loads of fish, but we're getting loads of little bites, and I want to tweak a few things when I do next come down. So anyway, we'll leave it there for the moment, because we may still have a couple more fish. Try and get a few more live baits.
Nope, still there. Right, dropped it. Fuck it, small fish.
Shit. A lot of line out there as well. That was my fault. Nah, I wouldn't have followed it that far, surely. Oh, what have I done here? Damn it, Baz. Being a bit of a noddy at the moment. No, it's got a knot in it. Should be able to get it out. It's like a wind knot. There we go. Yeah, it's a bit dodgy though. Be careful of that. Keep a tight line. Another bite, eh? Jack, get yours over in that corner, mate. Huh? Sorry? Yeah, put it over where I've had mine. That's definitely perch. And I'll move mine over just to the right a bit. We need to get a fish, mate. Sweet, so Jack's had his first on a live bait. It's all kicking off now. We're both fishing 1 rod each, apart from trying to catch bait now. I'm transferring my paternoster over to try and help Jack catch some bait, but he's had bass, he's had small perch.
Bass.
It's all kicking off now. My one's got a nice size silverfish on it, so it's giving it a good movement.
So the hook's gone through his lip and in a bloody net.
What is it, barbless?
No.
G forceps.
Nope. I just need it not to catch me goddamn net. Take me away.
What, you lost the hook?
That's in the net.
Oh, right.
Stop shaking.
How big is it? Same as, oh, nice size. They're all sort of small size, they're all taking live
Nice
baits.
shape, isn't they? Like big.
I mean, look at the colours on it.
Big hump on his back.
Sweet. Nice one, Jack. Well done. Another one for you. Two of similar size.
I didn't even see that one.
Right, let's tackle my other one up and try and catch some bait. Right, folks, so that's the end of the session, I'm afraid. It's coming up to 8:15 now. Jack had a couple of small fish, nothing really sort of to put on camera. You might see me actually netting the fish and that, but nothing massive. I had nothing after that second fish. I had a couple of tug downs and pull downs, but unfortunately nothing. Learned a lot from this session. Quite surprised. This particular swim I actually quite like. Fished here quite a lot, but never had as many bites as what we've had. Me personally, Jack's fished here quite a lot because he only lives around the corner. So, but yeah, really good session. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully to be back in here in a couple of days' time. Maybe I'll show you a little bit more of different methods. I think next time around I'll probably use just the one rod as opposed to using two. If I bring two rods, it'll be just to catch bait. Or what I might do is just use the one rod to catch bait. Then when I've got enough bait, swap it over and then start fishing with the live bait. So yeah, we'll see. But like I say, I really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this session. It's only a small one, I'm afraid. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment below. It'd be really nice to hear your feedback. I finally got over London. I've finally done some fishing in London for you. For all those guys that are moaning that I was only fishing around Kent and out of London. I am the London Predator angler, but I do fish in London as well. So it'll either be the Thames or back over here again. But next time, hopefully, we'll have some bigger fish. So thanks for watching, guys. Tight line and dead baits, and I'll catch you all soon.